Is in the building. Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network. Been trying to get this guy in the studio since we started this whole thing because, you know, we want to be a reflection of Detroit. And that's what Woodward Sports is all about. And no bigger ambassador and representation of Detroit than my man, Jude. Welcome, man. Welcome.
Good morning. To be here. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Yes.
He messed me up yesterday.
How?
I think I got to unfollow you for at least a day because you messed me up with the question of would you rather smash Ellen or Oprah? And I've been trying to process this in my head.
Oprah.
That was.
Yeah, I said Oprah and I make Gail watch.
Stedman can watch
and
too.
Stedman.
Sit your ass in the corner,
yeah.
Stedman.
Stedman can rub her back while I'm fucking smashing. Cuck 'em.
So people that don't know about Jude, many years ago, you were just kind of a shit talker, and then you got picked up by Jenny Jones shit talking.
Yep.
And now you're shit talking on SHADE45 daily, right?
Yeah. Shout out to Mikey Eckstein. Helped me get the job, and I've been doing it for 16 years now. Yeah.
And you got some crazy ass stories. Like I met you a couple years ago. You came on the night show for Channel 955, and you were like, "Hey man, let's talk. And can you throw on this song?" And I was like, "No, I can't change the log." And you're like, "What kind of bullshit is that?" And then you're like, "How long do we got to talk?" I was like, "We got like 30 seconds between songs." You're like, "What the fuck am I doing here?" Because you're used to wide open format.
I was like, why'd I drive all this way to talk 30 seconds? Like, please buy my book, please. Like,
we owed you gas money for that. That was the biggest waste. We apologize.
Well, I understand. That's how terrestrial radio goes. Now you guys are a bit more open. You can talk more freely about what you want to talk about. So that's awesome.
Yeah, we can say whatever the hell we want now, similar to what you do on satellite radio. So.
Yeah.
Really, man, I just wanted to, while you're here, do you have any good Detroit sports stories, like growing up, going to games, remembering things, girl with big boobs behind you, flash you, or anything like that happen?
Well, I got to meet John Sally when he was the year before they won before they won the championship.
Oh, nice. Okay.
My stepdad worked at a shoe shop at the Summit Place Mall, and it was like a raffle. So every day he would just stuff the ballot, and he won, and I got to meet Sally.
Nice.
And they surprised me, and I was dressed bummy as fuck. I had on like a Chargers jersey and some Raiders pants. I was perping like a motherfucker, and Sally was cool, and actually he comes on my show now to this every now and again.
That's
talking
awesome.
About being a vegan and stuff.
That's awesome.
There we go.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things that you do is White People Wednesday on your Instagram.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, it was that one came up out of nowhere, and that was a hashtag I made up, and 10 years later, it's still going strong.
Yeah, I forget what it was, 3 or 4 years ago. You were like, "Man, I was thinking about stopping White People Wednesday," but then you got a DM from Drake that was like, "This shit makes my day."
Yeah. And I've since stopped it. I let other people go on with it. It's played out to me. So,
dude, I don't know where you find those memes, but you crush that shit.
People send them to me.
Really?
And I'm shadow banned. So there it is. My shit. I bring the heat. Something about having two genders really bends people the wrong way.
Is that what got you
not
banned?
Wanting to blow a female. Not wanting to swallow a female sperm really bums people out. So they tend to shadow ban me a lot. So there you go.
You have multiple Instagrams, don't you? For that reason?
Well, my Instagram is One More Jude, and it was because I kept running out of names because they kept kicking me off, and I was like, all right, man, this is One More Jude, and I've been able to stay out of trouble and get my little check mark and keep it like that. So if you want some memes that you're probably gonna be triggered by, follow One More Jude.
And yeah, or if you have a fucking sense of humor, follow One More Jude.
Well, I come from I come from a pretty bad background. It's macabre. Me and my sister have a very macabre sense of humor. The cops were always at our house. My dad was pretty violent, so we learned how to laugh at at the tragedy in life. So we find humor in that stuff. And if you can't find humor in tragedy, then you're not gonna like my stuff.
Your book, man, Hyena and Hummingbird, like some of the stories that you have in there are just unbelievable, but they're believable because they're coming from you.
Yeah, everything is true. I write essays. They call them, I was calling them short stories, but the book people were like essays since they're real. And they're just short essays about life, addiction, sex, trying to find the right woman, and you know, you can read it on different levels. If you want to hear about like dick jokes, it's great. But then if you want to hear about deeper things about just the human condition, you can read it on that level. So I wrote it for a little bit of everybody.
And you grew up here in Detroit, right?
Pontiac, went to school out in Rochester, so I've been all around.
Nice. We have a guy here. His name is Art. And
Hey.
anytime I've ever mentioned that, like, I've talked to you before, he's like, no way, you got to let me talk to Jude, because you and him have very similar life parallels when it comes
Nice.
to growing up and dealing with a bunch of bullshit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it meant a lot for Art to come in and talk to you and ask you some questions. So, Art, what do you got to ask Jude, man?
Yeah, so years ago, you got into a very famous heated exchange with Floyd Mayweather. And it was one of the greatest bits on radio, period, in my opinion, because you went bar for bar with the greatest, as you said, defensive boxer. And I agree with you on that. Did anything ever come of that, like afterwards? Because
I almost got fired.
okay.
Really?
Yeah, he was friends with 50 Cent. And
Are you serious?
So I had to walk this tight. That was me going light too. Like so imagine me. That was me going light on Floyd Mayweather. I honestly think he's a great boxer. I think he read Art of War. Because of that, he's always like if he was a warrior, he'd be fighting on the top of the hill, and everybody else would be fighting uphill. He picks rings that are too big. He's a tiny fella. He picks rings that are too big. He fights people past their prime or before their prime, and he picks boxing gloves that are super fucking giant that no one can knock him out with. So footwork's great. Shit talking's entertaining, but I find his fights to be boring as hell because, if I want to watch footwork, I'll watch ballet. I want to see somebody get their head pounded in. So he called up, talked junk to me, and then I had to walk this tight wire of not getting crapped on my own show, yet not getting fired because I knew he was friends with 50 Cent, and I worked for Eminem.
Did you have a conversation with 50? Like, did 50 like come up to you and like, hey man, like that's my boy.
I had a conversation with all my bosses, and they were like, "What the hell?" And then they buried it. They buried the whole thing. So it didn't even get as big as it could be. That was one of the things that made me write the book. I was like, man, I can perform really well on radio and almost lose my job off of this. I need to come up with something else to do because I don't have any other skills. I'll be like a Walmart greeter or some shit like that.
You'd be the best Walmart greeter.
Like,
just trashing people as they walk in. Like, hey, welcome, old ass.
Yeah.
You come in here to get some more Depends, just ripping on people.
That busted ass Jay's walking in here.
Now look at you. Fucking
Dude,
one mom, 3 dads. Can't believe it. Walmart. Look at you. All right.
Right, all them kids yours? The hell no.
Nope. Yeah.
Dude, that's actually a good
There's
bit.
Jaden
That is
and
actually
Aiden.
funny. That is a great bit, having you as the Walmart greeter, just trashing people.
Yeah. I always wanted, actually, my dream job was is to be a fucking a wrestling manager. I just want to go out there and just slay the crowd, make them hate me. That would be fun.
Well, you know Darren McCarty, right? Like, Mikey's boys
lightweight,
with him.
yeah.
Like he's huge into wrestling. I could see you creating a Darren McCarty character and then you being his manager. Like that's a dream made in heaven. You could Bobby the Brain Heenan out there just talking trash.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, that's me. Was it Jimmy Hart or any of them? Yeah. So, those are my jobs. I was just telling Mikey I've been having health problems. I've had laryngitis like chronically for the last 3 months, and
Why is Mikey laughing? Where's this going?
I haven't
I
been
know,
a-
man. I'm trying to not laugh, but he's dying over here.
I haven't been able to talk, and turns out, like, I finally tried to settle down and do the right thing and, like, get a girl. Like, all these years of me just whoring around and flipping chicks, and I finally tried to settle down, and I end up getting bacterial vaginitis in my throat.
Oh.
So, yeah.
It'll get you, man.
So, yeah, so, like, it's funny because...
all the hoeing around, you never had that.
all that hoeing around, I never had it. I finally get a girl, try to settle down with her, and then she's got, it's not her fault. It's pH balance stuff. So, like,
See, on that keto diet, I heard that keto diet fucks with their pH.
I think my pee-pee man didn't fit well with her vagina, and it was getting worse. And I remember one day, like, as I couldn't speak, I woke up, and I remember her shit smelled like when you change a bike tire or some shit like that. And I woke up and my mouth tasted the way like a bike tire, and I was like, could this be? So then I call up the ear, nose, and throat people, and like I want to talk to the doctor. He's not there. And they were like, just leave a message. And I'm like, oh, geez, I got to talk to these ladies about this. Beep. So I can bacterial vaginitis cause complications with laryngitis? And they like it was like I told them I ate babies or something. They were just totally disgusted by me, and they were like, we'll ask, and hung up the phone, and like an hour later, they're like, yes, that could happen. I was like, I told you, you fucking asshole.
So how you address it to the girl?
I got it treated, and then we had stopped messing around with each other, and I was like, hey, I think that you had that. She was like, yeah, I got treated for it. And I was like, oh, yeah, I did too. In my,
The throat variety.
Yeah, in my throat. I had to get you can't use the cream clearly, so I had to get the antibiotics, and
Liquid form.
yeah, straight up. And now I have my larynx is partially paralyzed now off of all of that.
Let that be a cautionary tale to every man out there.
Yeah. I did a bubble blowing exercise. I blow bubbles now to get my larynx back.
So you're living the dream, is what you're saying.
It's like it's no good deed goes unpunished. I finally tried to like just stop being a total fucking slut, and that's what happens. I lose my voice, and I work on the radio, so that was a bit.
That's tough.
It was a bit scary.
I love how he says, yeah, my bad, I had to show up late. But one of our interns was like, yeah, they saw you outside blowing bubbles.
Yeah, straight up. And Bubbles was this guy. And he took forever to nut, so sorry for being late.
That happens, man.
Bubbles' fault. Said I was too toothy. I was like, I'll work on it.
Oh, Jesus.
Too much teeth.
I'll work on it, Bubbles. My bad.
My bad. You expert.
Yeah.
Art, you got anything?
Yeah. Is there anything from either hummingbird or hyena that you shared that you regret sharing or that came back to haunt you?
Everything came back to haunt me. I've alienated half of my family, but there was so much in there that I didn't put in. There's so much grime. Like, I didn't put anything salaciously bad about my family that didn't affect me. Everything I put in had to do directly with me. And it's funny, I got a new version out with a new story. And I finally got the rights to my book back. I got screwed over on the book deal. Imagine that, so
There's some Fiddy in to straighten that shit out.
yeah, he's got time for that. So
right. I'm here to straighten out the book deal for Rude Jude. Can you see that?
yeah, so I got the Hummingbird book deal back, and there was a story I wasn't gonna put in because it was about my dad and it was super grimy, and I agreed not to put it in, but then he continued to behave the way he did, and I was like, screw you, I'm putting it in the book as soon as I get my rights back, and that is now in the book.
Oh, nice.
It's so now it's the new Hummingbird. It's the special author's edition. You can only get it on Amazon, and it's got the grimy really grimy story. And the only hints I have to tell you is that I was like 18 with my pops, and we were driving around, and it had to do with him and semen and
Bubbles?
and Dean Martin.
And Dean Martin?
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're Italian. We're listening to Dean Martin.
Okay.
As he told me about semen, his own. Yeah, so that's.
Wait, he told you about his own? How does that conversation go?
Well, that was. I was trying to explain, I was trying to explain without explaining how one could be overly sexualized as a child
Right.
and have like weird sexual boundaries, because the way they're raised. Like, it's not surprising when I have like a dwarf pee on me that's an hyena, by the way. That happens when you got a dad that's talking to you about like weird, like doing weird stuff with semen at 18. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my dad was the exact opposite. Like, my whole sex talk was, I can literally remember all of it. We were pulling into our subdivision. He looks at me and goes, just keep it in your fucking pants. And that was our whole sex talk. That's it. That was the only time I ever discussed sex with my dad.
Just keep it in your fucking pants.
That's it.
Did it work?
No, hell no. Like, you can give that advice to any 13, 14-year-old. And guess what? The
probably-
minute I had to be able to take that out of my
Yeah.
pants, I was trying to take it out of my pants.
you
What
probably
was
put
your
it
sex
everywhere.
talk as a kid, Jude?
He was just telling us a little bit about it.
My dad, he was like trying to tell me about like cunnilingus while we were driving around in our Chevette, and he was like, you know what cunnilingus is? And I'm like, man, I'm not like, what do you know? I don't want to talk about that with you. They bleed out of there. I'm never gonna do that. He's like, yes, you will. You mark my words.
You'll love it.
You're gonna lick it clean. And then I'm like, no. He's like, well, do you know about analingus? And I'm like, what?
Oh, no. And how old were you?
I'm fucking 15, and this is like back in the 90s. This was like going down on chicks was frowned upon. It was where I'm from. It was culturally not looked upon in a favorable way. I'm like, they bleed out of that. I don't want nothing to do with that. That's some bitch shit. And he's like, oh, you're gonna do it. Mark my words, you're gonna do it. And then he's like, you know what analingus is? And I'm like, I don't want to know. I kind of had an idea because the anal was in there. And then and he was like, that's when you get them like squeaky clean, like I used to do your mother. And,
God.
yeah. And then he went in on that. He told me to get them really, really clean because the fecal matter could really hurt you. He was like, yeah, back in Nam,
Oh, God, we were eating ass all day.
the Viet Cong had poop on the spikes, and if you got poked with it, it would fester and you'd die. I was just like, man, just stop, dude. Like, I just remember like my shoulder touching the window, touching his shoulder. We're jammed into this friggin' Chevy wearing Carhartts, and he's talking about the Viet Cong and eating butthole, dude. And I was just like, man, get me the hell out of here.
I love how you have the shout out to Carhartt on this one. Is this like a sponsored story?
Yeah,
Joey's rocking the shirt right now.
Hell yeah, there you go.
This segment brought to you by Carhartt.
Carhartts and Chevettes and analingus. That's,
Analingus.
yeah. Those are kind of what my stories are about.
Little did he know, years later, you'd have laryngitis from doing the exact thing he was trying to tell you about.
I know, yeah. Well, I didn't even eat the butt. I
circle.
should have just stayed in the butt. I would have been safer.
In my head, I'm trying to think who lived a harder life, Rude Jude or Taylor Swift singing that 15 song. I'm listening to this like, all right.
What's her song about? Fuck Taylor Swift. The only thing she's got to worry about is having big gums. All she has is she's the gummiest. She's like gummy worms. She's got the gummiest fucking smile I've ever seen. Her teeth look like chiclets. They're so small. So yeah, she's had a tougher life.
Yeah,
But other
real
than
tough.
that-
Real
but
tough
other
for
than
that T Swift.
Yeah.
Be careful, she's
Poor
going to write a
T-
song about you.
Crying in her mansion with her tiny teeth and giant gums. It's like an infection.
I remember the last time that you were on, like I was saying, you were on my night show a while ago, and we talked about playing Drug Ballad, because that was a song Eminem gave you a shout-out in, right?
Yeah, that was really awesome. Yeah.
Dude, like, that's got to be, I mean, to this day, we're still talking about it, so that's obviously something people bring up to you all the time, right?
Yeah, they do, and it was really special because at the point I was like at a really low point in my life. My ex had got a job working at a gay bar in Ferndale, and they needed a bathroom attendant. So nobody wanted to do it for some reason, but it was $12 an hour plus tips. So I was like, all right, I'll do it. So I was literally working in the bathroom, giving queens paper towels for $1 and being sexually harassed.
Plus, you get the tip too. So I mean, it's a win-win.
Hey, dude, gay dudes and Chaldeans are the best tippers, man.
Joey's so happy.
Shout
to
out
hear
to
that.
my people, man.
Good tippers, man. Yeah. The Chaldeans will try to steal some shit from you, but they're good tippers. That was an interesting job. Actually, I ended up liking that job a lot. Nobody messed with me. I just sat around, smoked Black and Milds, sold cigarettes for $1. If somebody wanted to like 2 people in the stall, I'd charge them $10 or something like that to do whatever they did. Usually it was coke. The worst was there was like a one-legged homosexual man that was masturbating in the back of the bathroom. We had to get him out of there.
Great balance, though. Great balance to be able to handle that torque on one leg. That's
Well,
amazing.
and then the crazy thing was it turned in like it was all gay nights, but like there were so many good house DJs that all the strippers started coming. So then it turned into it was like gay on Friday, and it was like Chaldeans and Birmingham Jewish people on Saturdays. And I don't know which one I hated more, to be quite frank. I was like, I'm either getting sexually harassed or guys trying to fight me. So, like, which one's better?
Dude, I used to go to gay clubs all the time with a buddy of mine who was gay, and I'm telling you, by the end of the night, there's literally always at least 20 straight girls in gay clubs, and by the end of the night, there's nobody talking to them. And you're the last straight dude on, like, you're the last of the Mohicans in that bitch. So you're just going up to every one of them, like, hey, I think you're beautiful, and they're drunk as shit, and it's like, oh, cool, you know, all right, there's a straight guy actually hitting on me.
And they're open-minded. He's open-minded. Look at him. He's at this club.
Yeah.
He's accepting all of that stuff. Yeah. The craziest thing for me was just to see, like, the closeted gay guys that would, like, sneak out and, like, go to these bars. And they'd be like, yeah, we used to use these same faucets at hockey. And I'm like, whoa, dude. Like that is nuts. There was actually a gay Arab dude that would come in there and hit on me. I'm like, bro, I'm not with it. And he like typical owned a party store and the whole nine. And hey, what's up, bro? And I'm like, nah, man, I'm good. I'm like, but he couldn't come out the closet because it's frowned upon in that.
That's why they're such good tippers. Keep your mouth fucking shut. I was never here.
Yeah.
Like, I was never here. That was more hush money than tip money.
Yeah, straight up, a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And they ain't got no kids, and so they got that income that they can just kind of throw around. So
right.
I was all right with that job. Shout out to Temple. That was Temple on 9 Mile back 20 years ago.
Nice. I wonder what that is now. You think it was Q? I think it turned into Q for a while.
Is that Orchid? Because I know Orchid used to be a gay bar.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know,
9 and
man.
Woodward?
But it helped me move out of Los Angeles and pursue my dreams in or move out of Detroit and go to Los Angeles. So I do appreciate that bar, truly.
Well, Jude, man, I know our time was a little bit short today, but it was so good to have you on. You're welcome back here to bullshit with us anytime. If you ever got anything that you want to get off your chest, I know you got your own platform, but feel free to use Woodward Sports as your platform, too,
Thanks,
if you
man.
ever need to promote anything. If you, really, the whole reason we wanted to do this thing is to give something Detroit super special that no other city has, and that's a digital, off-the-record type sports network, and we're able to have these conversations that you'd never hear on other sports shit.
Sorry I didn't talk about basketball, y'all.
No, it's cool. We got a John Sally story out of you. That's
cool,
all I
yeah.
needed.
I don't know anything about sports, so my bad.
No, you're good, man. But that's the thing. This is all about Detroit lifestyle, too. It's not just about sports. It's about lifestyle in this city and, making big things happen. So thank you so much for coming
Thank
on
you.
with us today, man.
Appreciate
and
it.
You're welcome here anytime. I hope to see you again soon. And let's stack some pictures with you. Got to get you
awesome.
connected with Art. Like, I want you
Yeah.
two to smoke some weed together if you're still smoking weed. Like, I want you you two to have an experience
I don't,
together.
I don't, but I don't
some
want the
level.
laryngitis. I don't. I mean,
Yeah, you can each roll
might
your
not
own.
want. Yeah, you might not want to share.
Hey, come on in,
Bubbles.
Bubbles, real quick. Come on in.
Yeah, Bubbles.
Yeah.
Nice.
Bring Bubbles in.
Thank you guys for waking up with the Morning Woodward Show. We'll be back on tomorrow, 8 to 10. Fish is back. Fish Facts will be back on tomorrow at 9:50.
Can I plug the book one more time?
Of course.
Go to Amazon, type in Jude Angelini, hummingbird, hyena, and please buy the white hummingbird because that's the one that I get paid from. The
Okay.
other one I do not get paid off of. And if you're cheap, just steal it off YouTube.
But honestly, if you want an entertaining book, that is, I'm ADD crazy and I can't make it through books. But the short stories and how entertaining each short story is keeps you rolling right through that entire book.
Yeah, it worked out. Like me not being able to write a novel really worked out for the ADD crowd.
Oh, dude, you killed it for me. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, this is so interesting. Oh, it's over. Okay, what else is happening?
Yeah.
And that's it.
Little dopamine hits. Bing, 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 bing.
And this segment brought to you by Carhartt. Make sure you guys support local in Dearborn.
And
There
practice
it
your
is.
analingus.
Yeah.
All right, you guys have a great day. Enjoy your Tuesday. Bell and Baligian is up next at 11 o'clock. Then, of course, The Hook from 3 to 5 right here on the Woodward Sports Network. Have a great morning.